Hello everyday and welcome to a different kind of video today. I watch a lot of Pokemon content on YouTube, and the videos that I keep finding myself coming back to are Birdkeeper Toby's, M&J TV's, and ChuGreen7's My Pokemon Teams. All of these videos are amazing and I'd recommend all of them. There's a link to them in the description below. They're much better than me at this, and these videos are more entertaining than anything I could make. I've been playing Pokemon for about 6 years now, and over that time I've used a lot of teams, and I want to share them with you today. Now, be warned, I haven't played through every generation of Pokemon. I've played through a few multiple times, and in this video I'm going to tell you about the first 10 teams I've used in various games. This list will span 2014 to a few months ago in early 2020. So without further ado, put your favourite teams you've used in the comments below, and here's every Pokemon team I've ever used. My Pokemon gaming experience started in the February of 2014, when my mum got me the Pokemon Y for my birthday. Now, since this was my first ever Pokemon game, I of course used the starter. As a small child, I thought Delphox was too girly and I didn't love Chestnut's design, so I settled with the most popular color starter, Foki, and eventually Greninja. I didn't have a proper team for most of the game as I really wanted to complete the Pokédex, so I had Greninja as my constant and an ever-rotating set of Pokemon I was trying to evolve. But I got bored of this and eventually kind of lost interest. After a few months' break, I returned and built my first actual team. This was just after the 6th gym. The first edition was of course the regional bird, Talonflame, who is still one of my all-time favourite Pokemon. Again, I was a dumb kid and I felt like I needed to use all the classic stereotypical Pokemon. I used the Bulbasaur that Sycamore gives you, and it eventually turned into a Mega Venusaur, who was my favourite Kanto Pokemon. When I reached the fossil choice before the 2nd gym, I chose the Jaw fossil because that sounded cool and tough. And it was a good decision, because Tyrantrum is cool and tough. I kept with these 4 until the legendary battle, where I had to use Yveltal, the best legendary, and that experience of catching it and the cutscene and controlling the God of Death is one I will always cherish. And finally, the last Pokemon I added to the team was Furfrou. There weren't any more stereotypical Pokemon to have, so I just grabbed the nearest dog. I really love this team. You always remember your first. My next time playing through a Pokemon game was actually on this channel, on a Roblox Pokemon project, a remake of Red on Roblox. This was a really weird team. You could choose any starter, so I grabbed Torterra, my favourite Sinnoh starter, and one I never thought I would have any chance to use. I also grabbed Pidgeot, the classic bird Pokemon, who was useless, and lived up to no expectations. Next, I was actually lucky enough to get a rare Shinx spawn, which is one of the most viewed videos on this channel. Please don't watch it though, it's bad. It's really, really bad. Unlike Luxray, who's really, really good and was an absolute legend and one of the MVPs of this team, along with the Magikarp that you can buy, that I evolved into Gyarados. Those two were the best and carried us through the game. I always tried to have a dog Pokemon, so I grabbed an Arcanine who was okay, still a great Pokemon design, but I don't have any good memories of it. The final member of the team was a shiny Haunter I found in the Pokemon Tower, who was a lot better than I thought he'd be. I'm kinda sad about this team because I abandoned the Let's Play and they deleted the game. I never got a chance to defeat the League. But one day, somehow, I will defeat the Kanto League with this team. Next was my first playthrough in what is probably my favourite generation, Alola, Gen 7. I really love this team and I actually made a video before Sun and Moon came out where I talked about what team I wanted. Don't watch it, again, it's really bad. When the games actually came out, I of course chose Popplio and eventually Primarina. Remember when everyone was making fun of Popplio and how it was the worst starter? Well, they're not talking now, because Primarina is one tough pocket monster. As this was my first playthrough of a game, I got the early game Flying type Toucannon, who was awesome and is such an underrated Pokemon. Then, just before I left Melemele, I grabbed the channel mascot, Rockruff, another one of my favourite Pokemon, ever, who I never evolved. Just because Rockruff is that good of a Pokemon. I mean, it's terrible, but it's cute, so the media will forgive its many shortcomings. On the next island, I traded the girl in the Pokemon Center for a Bounsweet, who later evolved into Steenie. I never evolved past that because I didn't know about its weird evolution mechanic, but I love this Pokemon, because in the first Lusamine battle at Aether Foundation, this Steenie survived on 1 HP over 20 times because it cared about me. Everyone else had fallen, but this little plant consistently survived without healing on 1 HP and took down 2 of Lusamine's Pokemon. I didn't win the fight, but my god, Steenie is legendary to me now. The team didn't stop there. At the Glass Trial, I grabbed Persimmon, who's just such a nicely designed Pokemon. There's nothing crazy about it, but it's just so aesthetically pleasing. And at the end of the fire trial, I grabbed a Cubone who evolved into a Alolan Marowak. I didn't take Marowak to the league, but I completed the Pokedex after the postgame using exclusively Marowak, so it all evens out. When I reached Pony Island, I grabbed the best Alolan form Pokemon, Alolan Exeggutor, who stayed on my team for a while. I think they replaced Steenie because Steenie was getting a bit weak, which I know sounds really bad. This Pokemon poured its heart and soul into battle, and I ditched it. But my excuse is that Alolan Exeggutor is really cool. Finally, I replaced Marowak with Solgaleo, because I really loved Nebusol plot, and I needed to replace something on my team. So I ditched Marowak. After completing Pokemon Sun, I took it back a step and finally completed Alpha Sapphire, but without shoddily recording it on my phone. I didn't really like any of the Hoenn starters, sorry Sceptile fans, so I ditched Trico in a box and grabbed a Poochyena, who then quickly evolved into Mightyena. That was a mistake. I thought, because the Mightyena line are dogs, I would love them, but no! Mightyena was a travesty. It lost in every battle and had to be carried by the rest of the team. After this experience, Mightyena is probably my least favourite Pokemon. The rest of the team was cool though. I had a Gardevoir named Diantha who really lived up to the hype. I loved the huge move pool and the insane stats of this thing. I didn't want to take the classical regional bird route, so I grabbed a Pelipper named Arthur. And can we just talk about the name Arthur for a second? It's this big grandiose name that kings and legends have, but it only has 6 letters. I feel like I should have 9 every time I spell it. I need to look it up to make sure it's right. It shouldn't be that short. But anyway, Pelipper was great. I thought it would be a drag on the team, but it hit really hard and got me everywhere I needed to go. Before I got one of the Eon twins, that is. I got a Linoon named Stripey, who was just the HM slave. Then I grabbed the MVP just north of Slateport City, Manectric, or Sparky. I love this Pokemon, who completely carried our team through this game, and landed the final blow on Steven's Mega Metagross. I also grabbed a Kangaroo toy named Helen. They were pretty useful, but I replaced them with Kyogre, who I named Splashy, because I wanted a legendary on the team. This was actually the last time I used a legendary Pokemon in a playthrough. I also swear I used a Voluminous one, but I can't find any evidence of it, so I guess I didn't. Or maybe I'm just losing it. So after defeating Hoenn, I decided to return to Alola for the second time to play through Pokemon Moon, but this time as a challenge. I did a Wonderlock, which is exactly the same rules as the Nuzlocke, but the only difference is you Wonder Trade every Pokemon you catch. This was the first time I ever won a Pokemon Challenge run. I had attempted a few X-Nuzlocks in the past, but I failed miserably at all of them. I won this one, but barely. Speaking of bears, my starter was a Bewear, or a Skarmory, I can't remember which, but they were both great, really carried the team. It was not long after I was traded a competitive Rockruff, who I evolved into Midnight form Lycanroc, a Rowlet, who turned into a Decidueye, a Mudbray, who was a powerful Mudsdale, and finally, for the first time I ever repeat used the Pokemon, Talonflame joined the team. Looking back on it, I have no idea how I won this run. I can't remember any deaths until the league, but I remember how I killed my Mudsdale with Kamala using Woodhammer, and I didn't replace them because I couldn't be bothered. Skarmory died to either Hallow or Kahili, and Talonflame died in the final battle against Kukui. The only survivors were Bewear and Lycanroc, and Decidueye. This was a tough run, but I absolutely loved this team, and it was a great sense of accomplishment. Now, it was around this time that Ultra Sun and Moon came out. So guess what, guys? Who's ready for a third trip to the Alola region? I honestly don't think any other Pokemon game could have been this replayable for me. I mean, the Sun and Moon games are clunky and all, especially those huge bouts of dialogue, but the one thing I love about them is the characters. How Gladion, Lily, Kukui, and Lusamine are an amazing cast that's helped by great supporting characters, and that is what really drives these games for me. I've never been able to connect with the characters in a game like I have with these ones, but enough of that. My team. I have kind of a weird story about this team, which is I can't remember it. I remember the players and the plot, such as Todo Miraculin and Ultra Necrozma, but I can't remember one battle with this team. But here they are. I chose Decidueye as my starter again because I wanted to use this line and I had gotten Growlithe late in the Wonderlock. I also used the gift Rockruff that came if you pre-ordered the game, and it evolved into Dusk form Lycanroc. Then I used Salazzle because I remembered it looked really cool last time, along with Araquanid, who I love. Just as a design, spiders are, in general, terrifying. I grabbed a Goblin, which I expected to be a Charjabug for the majority of the game, but luckily it leveled up at the power station, and I got an awesome Vikavolt. And finally, I added Crabominable, who gets a lot of hate for being a really awesome Pokemon that I enjoyed using, I think. Again, I can't remember any battles with this team, except Ultra Necrozma, which was, of course, a pain. After my third trip through Alola, I spent some time playing fan games, some of which you can see on the channel. I only went back to the main series when Let's Go Eevee came out, and I played through Kanto again. My starter was Eevee, who I named Dandelion. Dandelion was cute but tough and was the highest level mon on the team. Then I grabbed all 3 starters, Venusaur, who I called the Beast, and yes, I know this was my second time using Venusaur, but I love him. Ganon, the Blastoise. I've never played Legend of Zelda, but the name sounded cool, and Toto the Charizard. I've never seen My Hero Academia, which I really want to see, but again, the name sounded cool. I really don't like Charizard, in fact, behind Mightyena, it's my least favourite Pokemon, and Toto didn't really change anything for me. For the last 2 Pokemon, I chose a Raichu named Sparky, I know, very creative. I just wanted to have both mascots on my team. Finally, I had a Kadabra named Zamboni. I have no friends, so I can never evolve him, but he was pretty cool and really powerful, even without evolving. At this point, I thought it was high time for another challenge run, so I picked up a Mega Ruby and did a much less stressful Dark-type only Pokemon run of the game. My Pokemon had unlimited lives, but I could only use a Dark-type. In a Mega Ruby, there are only 6 Dark-types you can get, all are Hoenn Pokemon. For this team, I nicknamed all the Pokemon, but I can't remember them all, so you'll have to bear with me. The first is, you guessed it, Mightyena. I used a second Mightyena named Ruby, hoping it would be a redeemer for this cursed line. I was wrong. Mightyena was a total nightmare. Luckily, I had a Seedot turn into a Shiftry, who was a main character this journey, and it really made me respect this evolutionary line. Next was an Absol named Reaper, who wasn't that great, but it's just a really nice and clean design. Then I grabbed a Carvanha, who quickly turned into Sharpedo, a really great Dark Water type, who teamed up with Shiftry to one-shot Titanize gym, the fastest gym battle possible in Pokemon so far, as I'm aware. I grabbed a Cacturne who was alright, but the real MVP behind Shiftry, of course, was Ace, the Cordant. Ace was the last member of the team, who I forgot about until just before Winona's gym. I didn't think they would amount to much as I already had a Dark Water type, but I named them Ace as in Ace in Hull, hoping they would fulfill their namesake. Oh, and they did. Not just once, but twice. Ace was the one to defeat Groudon and Steven's Mega Metagross. This team was kind of uneven, but it made me absolutely fall in love with Shiftry and Cordant. These 2 Pokemon began my journey of attempting to use every Pokemon possible in a Pokemon game playthrough, a journey I'm still on today. I want to find Pokemon I haven't used and wouldn't love unless I did. Next, I took a break from Pokemon. I felt a bit bored with it and I was revising for mocks as Gen 8 came out. I had nothing to do but sit around until Christmas, where I finally got to play through Pokemon Sword. It was actually kinda disappointing, this team. I tried so hard to remain spoiler-free, but I couldn't really bond with my team. But I'm currently going through Shield and I'm really enjoying that. Anyway, my Sword team. I didn't nickname them as it was my first playthrough. I had a Grook as my starter, who I evolved into an awesome Rillaboom. I then grabbed a Rookity and trained it into a Corviknight, who's just the best designed regional bird. I mean, look at it, it's awesome. I also grabbed Boltund, who I didn't bond with till I noticed how traumatized its eyes look. I mean, Boltund has been through hell. Look at him. No one is addressing this. After this, I found the mysterious Carkol in a tunnel, who I added to the team, turning into an awesome Colossal, and then added Barraskewda, the weakest member of the team, who I still liked, even if it was only for its swiper mustache. Finally, my favourite member of the team. After defeating Kabu, I entered the wild area and found a little Toxel, who I evolved into Toxtricity. I love this thing. It has a cool design, was the powerhouse of the team, and the first Pokemon I ever Dynamaxed in my big final battle with Leon. This team wasn't the best, but I really enjoyed it and had some special moments with them. Okay, here we go. The last team. I don't remember when this team was exactly, but it was a while ago. This team was actually a solo run that consisted of just a Chestnut named Chester, running through the Kalos region. It was really challenging, but I grew to love this night in Garciama. And it also helped that I found a full-on shiny Weedle in Santaloon Forest. The best part of this whole thing, though, was a random trainer with a Miltank, just east of the 3rd gym, knocked us out like 7 times. And I only won because I had Toxicity and had other Pokemon in my party by accident, like my HM Slave, my Flyer, and my Surfer. The Elite Four took less effort than that battle. I think they were related to Whitney. So, there we go. That is every Pokemon team I've ever used, so far. I've already started playing through the Pokemon games and building up to this sequel to this video. I actually enjoy doing the voice acting. I am yet to do the editing when you're seeing this. This isn't even scripted, what I'm saying right now, which is scary. But I can't mess up. This voiceover dialogue took me a very, very long time to do, as I kept putting it off, but now that I've finally done it, I can edit it, which is going to take much less time because I don't need to wait till after the construction outside my house is finished, so I can do it all hours of the day. I've really enjoyed making this, and so far, of course, I haven't got to the editing yet, and I can't wait to do the next one. My aim is to use every single Pokemon and then do a ranking of all of them, but that's going to be a very long time in the future. Tune in, hopefully soon, because next time one of these videos comes out, it's going to be a bit different. What it's going to be instead is just 8 regions, each region played through once, but I'll have used bigger teams and some different things. I know earlier in the video I said I was playing through Shield, that was like 3 playthroughs ago. Right now I only have to play through Gen 4, Gen 5, and Gen 3, and Gen 1. I'm playing through Gen 1 right now to complete this next teams for the next video. And if you want, I'm playing through Gen 4 on my channel for the first time in my life, and it's a lot of fun. Go check it out. It's okay. I'm actually kind of funny some of the episodes. But anyway, I hope you all have a dogtastic day. I'll see you all in the next one, and ODF out. Goodbye.